Armada Book 6 Chapter 2 The Cave in Part 1. Ellie's group has arrived in a Kligo ship within beaming range of Earth in dimension 1011899933. Billy's intel told them that 300 well-provisioned ships left in the direction of Earth from the Maccabee galaxies. Ellie, 100 Maccabee ships are 480 MLY away from Earth. Tom said, head towards them. Tell the ghosts to prepare to deploy to their targets on Earth. Beam them down as we approach Earth. Ellie said. After 2 days, Ellie, Hilm, Lasheen, Sarudam, and Desta were all in the small bridge. Tom announced, Ellie, the Maccabee ship's shields are all down. The Macs are ready to deploy on your order. Lasheen? Ellie asked, looking at Lasheen. Yes, the tagging areas have been assigned. Tom, tell them to deploy now. Tag as many as they can in 3 hours and come back. Tom set the time. There is no way for them to detect our taggers, right? Sarudam asked. Yes. I believe 3 hours would be enough for our taggers to finish with their assigned area. Tom, beam the small drone probes into the ships. Ellie said, I know that guy. He's Commander Nilam, the right-hand man to First Commander City from the 4th Colony. This guy is a nutcase, although I think they consider him smart. Hilm said, we want to make sure that they are the only armada deployed in these parts. They could be part of a bigger force, more than the 300 Billy told us about. Lasheen said, are we still going to talk to these guys? I would just beam them out and read their minds. Sarudam asked, I agree, but we need to destroy their TPs. Better yet, also just bomb their engines. Hilm said, I agree. Desta, can you send out the bombers, please, and tell them to place the virus disks near the communications devices so the virus can deploy? Ellie seconded. Yes, Ellie, 500 bombers will deploy within 5 minutes. There are 5 power generators per ship and 20 TPs. The communications devices have been identified. The virus will be deployed before the taggers are done. Wait, Tom, can you pan the drone to look at the gun emplacement to the right? See, is that a plasma cannon? Ellie interjected. Looks like it. Tom, can you send taggers to their armory and get us some of their weapons? Hilm answered. After a minute, Tom appeared with a plasma gun. He gave it to Ellie. Billy's report did say the intruders from the other dimensions gave the Emperor this technology as an incentive to send assassins out. Ellie said, the gun looks low-tech and heavy. I think they used metals for the gun body. Desta said, I guess they don't have the Norset formulator technology to produce black diamond plasma guns. Ellie said, you know the ships are not cloaked. Why is that, Ellie? Lasheen asked, perplexed. You're right, they are not cloaked. And no shields. Tom, look at their power generators. Maybe they are saving on power. Their power generators are 5 times the rated requirements for all ship functions. They just chose not to cloak. Tom answered, probably a proud and stupid Maccabee commander. Or they were told there would be no enemy to deal with. Hilm concluded, we'll find out soon enough. Sarudam followed. After 3 hours, Ellie started. Activate the virus and in 5 minutes remove the Maccabees from their ships, blow up the bombs and TPs. Ellie's team could see, as usual, the ship's engines blow up, then smaller detonations rock the TP rooms. They could see the Maccabees in a holding planet dazed and in shock. The top 10 Armada commanders are in the mind-reading module. The Trunnies are doing the reading this time. Tom said. Lasheen stood and, come on, let's go. At the mind-reading module. As they entered the reading module, several Macs knelt as if their knees suddenly went limp. Then they started banging their heads on the floor. Then the Trunnies huddled together. By the time they reached the first Maccabee, the reading was done and the Maccabee fell dead. Then the second fell dead and then a third one. Their Crimson told the telepaths that they blew up a planet, and the local Crimson decided to end their lives by burning their minds. Ellie and Lasheen fell on their knees while Hilm and Sarudam moved backwards to sit on the chairs near the wall. I can't stand this. So many lives lost. The Crimson made me feel what they felt. Lasheen whispered while wiping her teary eyes. Yes, they made all of us feel that. Our Crimsons told the local Crimsons about the planet blown up in our dimension, and it was a shock to them. Now they felt it firsthand, and they are absolutely upset and angry. These local Crimsons are some of the oldest in this dimension, and they have not experienced anything like this in their more than 1,000,000 years of existence. Desta said. Sarudam stood and, let's just destroy all the ships and move on back to Earth. Ellie was still crying, yes, Tom. Once the hackers have all returned, beam 1 thermo or our largest bomb per ship and detonate immediately. We'll just tell the Inkies to clean up the area later. Hilm put his arms on Sarudam's shoulder. Come on, let's go back to the bridge. Sarudam nodded. They all walked quietly back to the bridge. Ellie sat on her captain's chair and kept quiet. Hilm and Sarudum sat on their chairs behind her. After a few minutes, Desta's hologram broke the silence. The hackers are telling me that these ships were bound towards the Inky galaxies. That is why they are in these part of the galaxies. Another group is bound towards the Norsets, and a last group is bound towards Earth. The Norset group would be too far for us to reach with this ship if we intend to address the Earth group first. The ships are carrying several very large plasma cannons, the power of which is 10 times our regular ship plasma cannons. But they only shoot out plasma with metal. I do not see any report on other variant in their shots. Their TP range is shorter at 50 mly with 40 mly as optimal range. Their TPs are manually controlled, and they have no targeted TPs and no mining TPs. Tom added, "When will the Earthbound enemy reach the planet?" Hilm asked. 20 days from now. Tom answered. Lachine looked at Tom and, "How about the Norset-bound group?" 24 days. The max will be finished with our ships by then, and the ships shall have arrived near Earth. Ellie said, "We can send 2 of the Armada ships towards the Norsets to head off the enemy." Hilm suggested. "I agree. We would have 2 days to spare." Lachine said, "The Norsets are busy fighting the Morts, but they would be able to scan the Maccabee ships, and the Norsets might be forced to engage them. We really have to go to the Norsets." Sarudum added. Ellie responded, "Okay, Sarudum. You and Lachine take 2 of the Armada ships and deal with them. Hilm, Desta, and I would deal with the Earth invaders. Tom, fly toward an intercept point between the Crimson planet and Earth." "Very good, Ellie. We can save 2 days for Sarudum and Lachine if we meet the Armada ships halfway." Desta agreed. In 6 days. Ellie's group met the 3 Armada ships at the intercept point. Lachine got hold of 1 Armada ship and Sarudum the other. Hilm got the last one. The 3 ships were complemented 5 times their regular crew of 2,000, while the Kligo ship personnel remained the same at 3,000. The Armada ships also carried 5,000 Trunnies and 10 Crinsons each. The Armada ships came in a day late, so we have to move faster. Lachine, Sarudum, leave as soon as your people are in," Ellie said. Lachine and Sarudum were actually able to leave a few hours earlier due to Sarudum's insistence. Sarudum beamed in to Lachine's bridge. "This is not as well appointed as your ship, Lex. This is the newer Maccabee model, slightly better than our old ships. Reedon, show us the Norset galaxies." Lachine said. "Sarudum, I will fly and approach the Maccabees on this side, while you approach them from this side. Then we'll start tagging them from this point to this area here. Maybe we would be able to tag them all in less than 4 hours." "I agree. I wonder how Mampad and Andrew are doing. Most likely a comedy misadventure while solving an invasion. I told my Norsets to produce more of our medium-sized diamond bombs. It could get ugly." "Good idea. Reedon, tell our Norsets to do the same. Come on, let's go around and inspect the ship." After 12 days, Reedon appeared before Lachine. Long-range scan shows the 100 Maccabee ships 550 mly away from the Norset group of planets taken over by the Morts. 300 Norset ships have seen them and are headed towards these ships. They will be within range of each other in 5 days. "We have a 2-day window," Lachine commented. Sarudum's hologram appeared beside Lachine. "Maybe a day when their shields are down." Lachine nodded in agreement. "With our personnel complement, we only need an hour to tag and bomb the 100 ships. Are the ships cloaked, Reedon?" Lachine asked. "No, they are not. These Maccabees are either incredibly stupid or ignorant or too confident. Do they know the Norsets can scan them from 600 mly away?" Sarudum asked. "Probably not. But their shields are down and they are uncloaked, which is really beyond me. What we can do is to pass within beaming range of the 300 Norset ships and send out some of our Norset commanders to talk to the Norset Armada commanders to have them stand down," Sarudum asked. Reedon showed the Norset galaxies and the Armada group. Lachine looked at the Holos and, "They will probably take up positions here and here, maybe 240 mly from the Maccabee ships. They would be in ambush positions in 3 days, so we can beam our Norsets to their ships in about a day. Then it will take us a day to reach the Maccabee Armada from there." Sarudum nodded. "I would still come from the opposite side. It will take the Maccabee ships 3 days to reach the Norset ambush positions. So we can still go back and head off a battle. I am just afraid the large plasma cannons on the Maccabee ships might destroy the Norset ships." "Right, I agree. The timing is too tight. We would have to beam our taggers and bombers from 90 mly away, stay in place, say in a gas planet, and beam them back as they approach an hour later, then fly ahead and reach the Norsets less than a day earlier. We have to meet with my Norset commanders so we can talk about their mission," Sarudum commented. "Right." Lachine nodded. In less than a day, they were within beaming range of the Norset Armada. "The Norsets are ready to deploy," Reedon announced. Send them all out now. Tell Sarudam we are deploying now. 2 Norsets were beamed into the bridge in front of the ship commander in each of the lead ships. The Armada is led by Commander Radano. Do you want to talk to him, Lasheen? Reedon asked. Tell Sarudam and beam our holograms together. Greetings, Commander Radano. My name is Lasheen, and this is Sarudam. You've met our Commander Lonan and Commander Manalo. Yes. How come we cannot see your ships? Radano asked. It's a long story, but we would like you to stand down and not engage the Maccabee ships. We will deal with them later tomorrow. Commander Lonan and Manalo will explain the technical side of the operations to you and answer any other questions you have. I will stand down in the meantime and let you do your work, but we cannot fly back as they requested earlier. Thank you. Lasheen and Sarudam beamed out. The next day, Sarudam beamed his hologram to Lasheen's bridge. I'm done with my side, Lex. Are you all done? I'm done. Let's just beam them out to the holding planet, explode the bombs, and leave. Yes, no point talking to them. The Maccabees were beamed to a planet 80 MLY away, all within 2 hours. Let's tow the commander's ship so our hackers can study it, and when they're done move the ship to a planet and destroy it. Sarudam suggested. Works with me. Let's go. The next day, they were back at Radano's position. Commander Lonan and Manalo beams into Lasheen's bridge with Commander Radano. A few seconds later, Sarudam beams in. Welcome to my ship, Commander Radano. Lasheen greeted. We have to head back to our galaxies. We have an ongoing war back home. Yes, the Morts have taken several of your planets. We came to help, Sarudam said. Yes, Commander Lonan was telling me to let you do your work and deal with the Morts. They have more than 1,800 ships around the occupied planets and more than 2 million men on the ground. I find it really hard to believe that you can deal with them, as Commander Lonan said. Radano explained. What did your scan show about the recent encounter yesterday? Manalo asked. We saw the ships headed here, then they stopped and did not move. Radano answered. All their ships were destroyed and rendered immovable. Lonan said. Lasheen butted in. Whether we can do it or not is not very important. We would like to talk to your Grand Council. Is Binaton the head of your council? Yes, he is. How about Tonin? Where's Tonin? Sarudam asked. Radano looked at Lonan. He was captured by the Morts and taken to one of the garrisons on an occupied planet. Reedon produced a hologram of the occupied planets. Lonan faced Radano. Point us where Tonin is. Radano looked at the area and pointed to a planet. This one. Our 2 ships will reach that planet in 2 days. Maybe you can move all your personnel to our ships and leave enough to fly your ships back to your planets. Lasheen said. We are 70 MLY away from you, moving to your direction, and we will pass by your positions in a few hours. You have only 14 hours to start moving your people to our ships. Sarudam explained. I can send 80% of our crew to your ships. That's about 80,000. Can you take this many people? We'll be a little cramped, but we can manage. Lasheen answered. Our people will tag all your crew. Tell the taggers which of your crew would be left with your ships. Lonan said. After a few hours, Radano, Lonan, and Manalo beamed to Lasheen's bridge. Lasheen, the transfer will be complete in 10 hours. 2 hours ahead of schedule. Radano said. Good. Lonan, start them off with going to our Crinsons, and that includes you, Radano, and the crew intending to remain. Lonan explained this to me, but it is really hard to believe. I told you take the bet. Lonan said. No, I don't like betting. Radano countered. Maybe after the Crinson, you will understand more. Lasheen said. The next day, at Sarudam's bridge, Sarudam started. Lex, let's meet with Binaton first to tell him to order their forces to stand down while we do our work. Did you read what Sin did when he dealt with the Norsets? Lasheen asked. Yes, that was funny. But I don't know if this Binaton will be similarly gullible for a setup like that. No harm in trying. Lonan added. Let's set them up. I wasn't successful setting up Radano, but maybe we can succeed with their top dogs. Manalo agreed. I think we should appear as humans so they wouldn't see a Norset dealing with them. If they are too far into themselves, they would assume the other species are less smart. I think you two are behind the practical jokes in my ship. Lasheen pointed at the 2. Lonan looked shocked. Not us. Somebody else is doing it, and we do not know who. But Reedon should know unless Reedon is in on the deal. I never thought a ship AI can be in on a deal, Sarudam said. Olive was part of Rodin's prank. Lasheen said. See, these AIs weigh things and decide whether to agree or not. Lonan said. Binaton and the council have just started to congregate. They will probably have a meeting in a few minutes. I can beam you all there. Reedon said. Let's wear our cassocks. I'll appear as myself, but I will put the hood over my head. This way I will look mysterious. Sarudam suggested. Lachine agreed. Fine. Lonan, Manalo, humans and Cassix, please. Sarudam started. Greetings, Binaton. My name is Master Priest Sarudam. This is our venerable priestess Lachine and our honorable priest Lonan and honorable priest Manalo. We come in peace. Master Priest? Venerable Priestess? Where'd you get these ideas? Lachine asked Sarudam telepathically. The two Norsets were dead serious. Binaton was shocked, but, okay, how may we help you? Lachine spoke. We came to help you rid yourself of the Morts and return all your occupied planets. How many are there anyway? The Morts occupied 16 planets. Binaton said. I thought there were 15 occupied? Sarudam asked. We lost one just this morning. How many ships and men do you have? Sarudam answered. We have one ship. Binaton and the council laughed. Not yet, Lachine told Sarudam, Manalo, and Lonan. How much time do you need to do your work? Binaton asked. I'd say 2 weeks. And we would like to ask you to tell your ships to stand down and fly far from the battle areas so we can do our work without worrying about your people getting killed, Sarudam said. Binaton and the council laughed again. We have been fighting for more than 200 years already, and you come here and tell us you will end this in 2 weeks with one ship? Binaton asked. Fine, 3 weeks then. Satisfied? Lachine countered. Binaton laughed. I am sorry, but you have to take war seriously. It's obvious you do not know how this war is going. Now Lonan. Lachine said telepathically. Lonan started. I'll bet you we will end this in 3 weeks or less, and if we do, we want all of you to kiss our asses. Surely you're joking, right? Binaton asked, laughing. I like that they kiss my feet rather than my ass. Lachine said. She felt leading the ploy out and around. Manalo followed through. Lachine, that's your choice. Binaton and the council might choose to kiss your ass and not your feet. Lachine looked at Manalo. The whole council will kiss my feet? Works either way for me. Sarudam concluded. So Binaton, how would you choose? Lonan said, going into the endgame. Binaton countered. What if you lose? Then we would all be dead and you have no ass to kiss. Lonan said. Why are you doing this? Binaton asked. So you can kiss our asses and be treated as equal to you. Manalo said. One of the council members said. You must be so desperate to have your asses kissed you risk your life to get it. You could say that. So are you going to agree or not? Lachine said, following up. Binaton was in joking mood already. Fine. We agree. He looked at the other council members for any disagreement. Lachine looked around to confirm. So you all agree, right? They nodded. This one was for the record, Reden's record. We will see you in 3 weeks. Tell your ships to stand down and move away from all of the engagement areas. Sarudam said. Lachine and her group left. That was one welcome distraction from our daily grind and war planning. Binaton said. Another council member. I hope we have more of these jokers. Back at Sarudam's bridge. Lachine gave the others high five. My hat's to you, Lonan. I could not believe Binaton could be set up like that. Anyway, how are the 80,000 Norset coming along? Sarudam asked. Manalo answered. They have all gone through the Crimson and we will assign them as ground taggers. We have at least 100,000 taggers. We can finish in a week. Let's get Tonin and his people. Lachine said. Right. Let's go. Sarudam agreed. After 10 days. At Lachine's bridge, Sarudam just beamed in. Lachine started. I reviewed our operations and I believe it's time to invite Binaton and the council to see the start of our operations. What do you think? I was on it every day, so I know we're good. Manalo and Lonan beamed to Lachine's bridge with Tonin and his assistant Resban. They were so weak they had to stay in the sick bay for several days. 52 of the more than 2,500 people that were rescued with them are still in sick bay, too weak to stand. Their problem was compounded by the fact that the Norsets, for the first time in their history, have a shortage of clones. Lachine told Tonin that a Norset backup planet has more than 10 million clones, but they have to get them after they finish with the Morts. Before we start, Tonin, Resban, can you go down and invite Binaton and some of his people over so they can see the start of our operations? Then you two can go to your own ships and mobilize refugee work. Manalo's men will accompany you with thousands of their people. They are familiar with the operations grids on the planets, and they can help organize your people. Lachine said. Tonin agreed and, yes, I was briefed on the task and that my ship personnel would be tagged, so we can beam them straight to their designated areas of operations. After a few minutes, Binaton and several council members appeared with Resban. Lachine greeted the group. Good to have you here, Binaton. We were just waiting for you before we start our operations. Tonin did not say anything. He just left for his ships. And Resban is not talking either, so we have no idea what you are about to do. Binaton said. Good. So shall we start? Sarudam asked, and Binaton nodded. Reedon produced 3 dozen large holograms of the ships, planets, and an empty planet. Lachine started to explain. We will move all these morts from these ships and planets to that empty planet over there. That holding planet is 70 MLY away and will be enough to hold the more than 2 million morts. Then we will send our troops to clean up the ships and the garrisons below of any remaining morts. The whole operation will take 20 hours. I think I can understand what you are saying, and you make it look so easy, but I cannot imagine how you can actually do it. In a few minutes, the morts will launch their attack ships and a counterattack will start. Binaton said, and noticed Resban was no longer with them. The mort ships will be empty in less than 2 hours. All their attack ships will be blown up in their hangars. All their ships will lose power. Shall we begin? Sarudam asked as he nodded at Lachine. Lachine nodded and, Reedon, start the operations. Binaton and the council members watched as the morts in the ships started to disappear and reappear in the holding planet. Then they could see troops move in and killing some of the remaining morts. Then the scene moved to another ship, and after a while, all they could see were troops shooting at the remaining morts. Your weapons are so strong, Binaton commented. One hologram showed drones appear and disappear after attacking their targets. You have very small ships, Binaton said again. Lachine cared to answer. We call those attack drones. Tonin appeared as a hologram. Greetings, great leader Binaton. I am bringing in 1,000 ships to render refugee work on the planets. I expect a planet to be empty in the next 2 hours. We will arrive at the first planet in 3 hours. Lachine, I have sent Resban with 300 ships and 200 transport ships towards the backup planet. He will arrive there in 24 days. After 2 hours, Binaton and his group could see a planet almost empty and the ground troops were almost finished. Several hundred Norsets were already on the ground setting up refugee centers. Then there were 2 planets on the hologram screens that showed the morts were all gone. Lachine looked at Sarudam. I'm hungry, Sarudam. Aren't you hungry already? I thought you would never ask. Binaton, can we invite you to some refreshments? Binaton nodded. He motioned to the council to follow Sarudam. At the mess hall, Binaton could see several aliens working and eating. It was fairly full and the line was long. They fell in line and Lachine advised Binaton of the various food selections. She suggested ice cream and some cakes. Binaton took her advice and got some. He told his group to get some as well. Lachine had to demonstrate how to eat ice cream, and she did it exactly how Ellie did it. As usual, she got a kick out of it, but her high was almost instantaneously disrupted by the usual amazement that followed. For the Norsets, ice cream is a heavenly food item, beyond their formulator technology and completely magical in taste. I know you are all enjoying your ice cream, and we have a lot more flavors for your enjoyment. But sooner or later, you will realize that the mort problem is already at its proper end. And you know what this means, Sarudam said. Lachine added, there are 2 other species that are fighting for you, the Max and Inkies, that we want you to have an alliance with. You have a very strong manufacturing base. You have the largest formulators and thousands of medium-sized ones. The Inkies has the fastest engines ever created, while the Max are masters of the TP technology. We want you to build ARMADA-type ships together. We want you to build these kinds of ships and form part of the ARMADA that will protect all your galaxies. The Norsets kept eating. 3 days later, Reedon announced, the council would like to invite you all down to the capital. Lachine beamed to Sarudam's bridge. Are we all ready? Lachine asked as she deployed her habit. Sarudam was wearing his cassock that he reprogrammed earlier to appear red. The whole Armada beamed down to the capital planet, excluding the 80,000 Norsets Radano left with them. Resban have taken all of them earlier to install the TP's Lachine, gave him to install on the line of 68 hop ships they laid out all the way up to the backup planet. Reedon, make sure you project holograms of this event all over the planets, Lachine said. Sarudam and Lachine were in front of their crew, who were all wearing their cassocks. The women preferred to wear the habit, although some were wearing white cassocks. Binaton and each of the council members gave an emotional speech. Most of the speeches were short except for Binaton's speech. After the speech, they all knelt and bowed their heads very low and almost touching the floor. This time, all the Norsets around them followed the council. Then Binaton invited Lachine and Sarudam to talk. Lachine started, thank you for the kneeling and the bow. We understand that those acts are the greatest form of respect and show of humility your species can do, and that you have not done this for more than 1,000,000 years. Thank you. I would like to open a dimension gateway and invite some people over to witness one other act that you have not done since your species started. A DG opens and several figures were beamed in front of Lachine in thick white smoke. When the smoke cleared, the Norsets could see 3 Norsets, a human and an Inky. Lachine announced, "This is our Binatin, Gotanin, and Tonin. That's Eric in black and Gantley in white. We would like to proceed with the ass-kissing first before you get to meet your other selves." Cerudum stood. "Come on guys, line up for the council to start kissing our asses." As usual, Binatin tried to argue, but Lachine produced a hologram of the event and told Reedon to show this in all the planets. With so much grumbling and whining, the council started to kiss the Armada asses. They started with Lachine, Cerudum, Manalo, Lonin, and the other commanders. It took more than an hour for the kissing to finish, and when it was over, Lachine's Binatin delivered a speech. He talked about the great Norset civilization and their new role in the galaxies. He also talked about the Bofings and how they are suffering at the moment. Please prepare more than 1,000 of your transport ships complete with medical and food supplies. I am calling on all Norsets who can help to render service to their closest brethren. There is not much time. He begged them with so much emotion. At the reception, the local Norsets are in for a treat to meet their other selves from another dimension. The next day, Cerudum told Tonin that they would like to leave for the Bwelfing galaxies after a few hours. Tonin was prepared to leave because Lachine advised him about the plans a few days ago.